the real world, if you have something about yourself that's different, you're lucky. It's not a curse.
I'm really glad that I went to school because it really shaped a lot of kind of, I think social dynamics of walking into a cafeteria and not knowing where you're going to sit is kind of like an important human experience.
I was brought up by two parents who taught me that, the world doesn't owe you anything. You have to work for everything you get, and you have to be appreciative of every bit of success that the world gives you, because it's not something that anybody owes you.
No matter where you live, no matter what happens to you, no matter who you are, what you look like, or whether or not you get to stand on a really big stage and sing songs you wrote for a lot of people or not, there's always going to be somebody who's picking on you. And I guess what I've learned is that it's not really about wishing those people would change, because those kinds of people don't change normally. It's more about how you choose to process it. And I've learned that the best way for me to process it is you just make a mental note that you will never, ever intentionally make someone else feel the way that they made you feel.
You can choose to be completely pulled down, and you can let bullying change you, or you can let it make you aggressive or mean, just like they are, or you can try to channel your pain into something that can do nothing but pull you up and motivate you.
The people that make your life hard when you're younger, if they didn't make your life hard, then you wouldn't have wanted to leave where you were to go where you are now.
That if someone uses name calling to bully you on social media, and even if a lot of people jump on board with it, that doesn't have to defeat you. It can strengthen you instead. You shouldn't care so much if you feel misunderstood by a lot of people who don't know you, as long as you feel understood by the people who do know you.
You can handle it like you shake it off and you just kind of laugh at it, and you can laugh at yourself too, like that's all right.
You have to kind of give people the space to learn lessons in their own time.
The thing about being a good friend is you have to know right off the bat, most of the time your friend, when they ask you for advice, they're going to do what they want to do, not what you tell them to do. Because that's how human beings work. And I think being a good friend means that you don't really preach to them as much.
See resilience as like a major quality in friendship. Like when your stock is down, if they're still wanting to hang out, that's like,
You don't have to forgive, and you don't have to forget to move on. If something's toxic and it's only ever really been that, what are you gonna do? It's like, just move on. It's fine.
Let me tell you, people are mean to each other, but no voices are as mean as our own voices are to ourselves. Is it true or is it false?
There's always some standard of beauty that you're not meeting. I'm a woman, I'm not a coat hanger. I need to feel healthy in my life, and I need to take pleasure in food, and I need to not use my body as like an exercise of control when I feel out of control in my life.
In my life, I've just tried to be the age that I am, not try to grow up too fast or anything.
And so I think that you've got to allow yourself that grace to put on a certain lifestyle or a certain outfit or a certain creative mantra, and then discard it when you outgrow it.
I think a lot of people, especially people in the public eye, they tend to think that aging decreases your worth or decreases your relevancy or decreases the value on your thoughts. And I'm really hoping that with time I'll gain more wisdom, and I will use it for good and not allow my brain to create all this anxiety about something that's going to happen to everybody. So you have to just kind of make your choices based on the way that you want to live your life, legacy-wise, like life-wise, rather than putting all that pressure on yourself.
Like, I don't think you should ever have to apologize for your excitement. But just because something's cliche doesn't mean that it's not something that's awesome.
Enthusiasm can protect you from anything. Like, if you're an enthusiastic person, you can kind of come back from anything, because you're always, even if you have a failure or you're rejected or criticized for something, you can become enthusiastic about the next thing. life itself and who people actually are can be greatly reflected in how they dance. I really think that. And I don't mean how good you are. I mean your willingness to dance.
If you're willing to dance because you love it and because you're having fun, not because you look cool, that's a whole different thing. That means you're like playing by your own rules.
I love it when you're in love. That person's opinion affects your opinions. And everything you do goes through this filter of how would they feel about it. Because if you're a caring person and you're in love, then that's what you do. But there's something really wonderful about changing your life if you want to, cutting your hair short if you want to, moving to New York if you want to, changing directions of your entire creative outlook if you want to, and having it only be on your own terms.
What if your life completes itself? I wish people didn't look at me like that's something sad, that you living your life is exciting enough for you and that you're not looking for anything else to complete you. I think that's actually the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life.
Maybe it would be a lot simpler if you only had two options in relationship. If there was no maybe, there was no I'm not sure, there was no, oh, let's see where this goes. I'm not really into commitment right now, but woo! We're usually friends, maybe we should break up and stay friends, and still like hang out every once in a while. Like, I don't want anybody doing that to you. I wish you only had two options in relationships. You either leave or
Stay!
In life, you accumulate scars, you accumulate hurt, you accumulate moments of, learning and disappointment and struggle and all that. And if someone's going to take your hand, they'd better take your hand, scars and all.
That if you find the right match, if you find the right person, it could be worth fighting for.
I think true unconditional love is like, do you love someone so much that you would even love them if they didn't love you anymore? Like, that is unconditional love.
You know what? I think that I've learned through songwriting that if something made me feel deeply or anything at all, it was worth it.
I think cynics, they might get hurt less, they may get fooled less, they may be betrayed less than us, but I think that if you're open and you are generous and you are vulnerable and you're not cynical about love and life and happiness and excitement, I want that life for you, because I think you'll have a much more beautiful life.
Try to encourage my fans that they don't have to feel confident every day. They don't have to feel happy every day. They don't have to feel pretty every day. They don't have to feel wanted every day. That they shouldn't put added extra pressure on themselves to feel happy when they're not. I think being honest with yourself emotionally is really important.
You're not always going to be inspired, and that's okay.
That you need to say how you feel when you know that that's how you feel.
A lot of the time we get so overwhelmed by our emotions because there are so many of them. But a lot of the time, if you put pen to paper, how you're actually feeling will be what comes out on the page.
Whether you write in your diary, or you write songs, or you write poetry that no one will ever read, or poetry that you're going to stand up in class and read, or poetry that you want to matter to more than just you, I think that it's important that you write for whatever reason that helps you, whether it's to cope, or to remember, or to forget.
Is if you write, you can turn your lessons into your legacy.
I think that keeping your emotions all locked up is something that is unfair to you.
I think that, when you can escape into a book, it trains your imagination to think big and to think that more can exist than what you see.
I've realized that it's not about being perfect. It's not about feeling perfect. I think that sometimes it's just about getting on with things, and after a while, you look around and you realize that you're happy today.
You gotta be able to really prioritize what matters to you. For me, it's my family and my friends.
You have to look around you every day and take note of the people who have always believed in you and never stop appreciating them for it. Never take them for granted.
If you just focus on the work
and you don't let those people sidetrack you, someday when you get where you're going, you'll look around and you will know that it was you and the people who love you who put you there. And that will be the greatest feeling in the world.
Do not let anything stop you from making art. Just make things.
Focus on your idea of right and wrong, your idea of who you should be, your idea of what's cool, not everyone else's, because it's never all gonna match up.
Yeah. Expect the unexpected, but celebrate anyway.
One thing I've really learned is to really be there when you're happy. Let happiness happen.
It's actually really ungrateful to just assume that you have 20 years. Be stoked that you have today.
You are not somebody else's opinion of you. You are not going nowhere just because you are not where you want to be yet. You are not damaged goods just because you have made mistakes in your life.
We live in a world where anyone has the right to say anything that they want about you at any time. But just please remember that you have the right to prove them wrong.